World Environment Day. The topic is land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. So these are some of the snapshots which in fact speaks about the topic what globally today world is facing. So it appears that our globe is sinking in plastics. Plastic pollution is so serious. Herein is a wonderful ecosystem, and then we go for the latest form of restorations. So I will be covering in today's content present scenario in which we are living in, industrialization and ecosystems deterioration as a result of industrialization. We will look into briefly about sustainability, then CCPI and Earth Overshoot Day. Subsequently, we will look into the land restoration. Next, we will go for desertification and drought resilience. And finally we will have look on some real life contributions as examples. So there will be some specific examples from the state of Rajasthan as well. Land restoration is about renaturalization or rewilding, is the process of restoring land to an enriched or previous state with an intended purpose. Desertification is the process of vegetation in dry lands, that is arid and semi-arid lands. Mostly Rajasthan possesses these, such as grasslands or shrublands, decreases and eventually disappears. Drought resiliency focuses on preparing communities for future droughts by empowering the means to endure, withstand, and recover from such events. Strategies to conserve water, access water sources, and manage drought on a watershed level helps communities become more resilient. So these are some specific scenarios from our country, and they relate to today's topic well. Theme is our land, our future, and together we are the generation restoration. I'm sure many of you may be aware about the ongoing decade 2021-2030 is being observed globally under the aegis of United Nations Environment Program as the decade of ecosystems restoration. The World Environment Day 2024, in fact, celebrations of World Environment Day began in the year 1973, and fortunately it is 51st World Environment Day. The previous year topic was solutions to plastic pollution, and these are the various topics since 2014 till 2024. So 11 years, one after other. Each of the topic is in fact focusing on one way or other way on ecosystems. So we will be dealing with the ecosystems. And we come to the news at a glance, what really been happening and is happening. In Delhi, one of its locality, Mangeshpur recorded country's highest ever temperature since records are available. Earlier, it used to be Phalodi in Rajasthan with 51 degrees centigrade. And in fact, the same day, Phalodi also recorded 51 degree. With this highest temperature in Delhi, later on during evening hour, Delhi also had same day rains. And as a result, Delhiites, they got some respite from such a heat conditions. Recorded temperature was 52.3 degrees centigrade, as I have mentioned. Phalodi on the same day recorded 51 degree centigrade. Sirsa in Haryana 50.3, Gwalior in MP 48, Narela, which is part of Delhi, 47.9, Rohtak in Haryana 47.7, Churu again in Rajasthan 47.4, Bikaner again Rajasthan 47 degrees centigrade, and Jagdishpur, which is in Haryana, 46.5 degrees centigrade. So the day Delhi recorded the historical highest temperature for India, these are where the hottest places. And the different real life stories which speaks about the hardships citizens have faced and in fact are facing during this ongoing heat wave. Death Valley is famous as the hottest plain on earth and is also the driest place which is in North America. The world record highest air temperature of 56.7 degrees centigrade. It was recorded on 10th July in 1913. That is 111 years before, I can say, roughly. So, as stated earlier by me, Phalodi in Rajasthan records highest temperature 27th May when Delhi recorded 52.3. Entire Rajasthan and NCR is reeling under severe heat, and I am sure you all are experiencing as your campus is in Rajasthan. These are again the scenarios what happens during such environment. So herein is the overall on right part hottest places in our country before this year. So Phalodi this year also recorded 51 degrees centigrade as we see on the top. During 2016, also Phalodi recorded 51 degrees centigrade. And then different places countrywide are given, beginning with Churu, Alwar, Sri Ganganagar, Dholpur, Barmer, Sikar, Tonk, Bikaner, Jhalawar, Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, and Pilani. These are the hottest places in a state where you are located in Rajasthan. Temperature in the state crossed, this is about Telangana, 47 degrees centigrade. The heat have caused the deaths of fishes in lakes across Telangana. The most common cause of mass fish deaths is low level of oxygen in the water, which happens during hot water conditions. Khajuraho in Madhya Pradesh also records high temperature, and it was 47 degrees centigrade recorded there. These are the various lakes in Telangana where we find thousands of fishes because of heat wave and deficiency of oxygen content in water. As a result, they are all dead. So ecosystem is suffering greatly. According to a World Bank report, India could account for 34 million of the projected 80 million global job losses from heat stress, associated productivity decline by now till 2030 during these 6 years. So we are almost affected, and nearing 50% job losses are projected to be in our country. The extreme turbulence on Singapore Airlines, I'm sure many of you must have seen it in news channels or social media, which left one passenger who was a British citizen dead from heart attack and dozens injured, has inflicted psychological scars on those who survived. The aircraft experienced extreme turbulence for 62 seconds over the Erie Basin around 10 hours after departure on 21st May 2024. So this is 2 weeks before, and see the interior of aeroplane as a result of sudden jerk. What happened? The damages it suffered. A person lost his life, and many suffered trauma-like situations. This is not in isolation. Very next week, turbulence on Doha Dublin flight leaves 12 passengers injured. This is another one of Qatar Airline, which happened on 27th May. In fact, air travel is considered to be the safest mode of transport as well as the fastest mode. But as a result of climate change, there are now questions about safety of air travel. Deforestation is causing havoc, and these are real life scenario speaking about deforestation happening in our country is a serious matter. India's deforestation rose from 384,000 hectares during a decade time between 1990 to 2000. It increased to 6,68,400 hectares during a period of 5 years during 2015-2020. India is working on plans to restore 20 million hectares of its forest cover by 2030. So government is in fact serious about it and working for. These are desertification real life scenarios from our country, how badly desertification is increasing and affecting the quality of soil, and in fact various parts of our country they are experiencing such scenarios increasingly. In India, 32% of land is under degradation and 25% is undergoing desertification. So it is a serious issue. A huge task ahead of our country is to ensure sustainable land management as well as food, water, and livelihood security. So we are endangered and situation is grave. The global theme of this year's Desertification and Drought Day, which will be observed on 17th June, is United for Land, Our Legacy, Our Future. It emphasizes the transformative power of sustainable land management to address today's global challenges and create a blueprint to a better future on land for all generations. The future of our land is at stake. Desertification, land degradation, and drought are amongst the most pressing environmental challenges of present times. With up to 40% of all land area worldwide already considered degraded. So as we have seen, we are talking about 35% of our territory in India. Globally, it is 40%. The theme of the Desertification and Drought Day, as I have stated, is United for Land, Our Legacy, Our Future. So, 17th June, keep in mind and learn about it. Not only learn, act about what we can. So let us come to what are ecosystems and how important they are for our well-being. The pre-industrial era, prior to 1780, period before than that, had a dynamic equilibrium of biodiversity and ecosystems. Human communities coexisted with diverse ecosystems, relying on the abundance of plant and animal life for sustenance. We are a country who been and is worshipping ecosystems since ages. These are some most worshipped varieties: bargad, people, bale, tulsi, doob, rivers, earth, mother earth, cow, etc. So these are pictorials representing it and the richness of our ecosystems. Varanasi, river Ganga, it is worshipped every morning and every evening. Herein is a golden temple, Amritsar, wherein a tree is worshipped by every devotee whosoever visited there, and it is said that this tree is historical since the time of their Gurus. Guruji also worshipped the same tree. United Nations classified ecosystems in 8 categories, beginning with farmlands, forests, fresh waters, grasslands, mountains, oceans, peatlands, and urban areas. Integrating these 8 ecosystems is the globe as a whole. Ecosystems, these are some real life examples from our country. The globally best or the purest river is in India, in our state of Meghalaya. River is known as Dauki, and it is so clean and clear that we can see the shadow of a boat underneath up to 8 meters. This is a river, perfectly neat, clean, like distilled water. So our country being possessing the most original and rich ecosystems. Another examples from different parts of our country, nature beautify itself, and it is so attractive that anyone coming across such locations and places feels fresh, energetic, elevated, motivated, and definitely prefer to visit such places as frequently as possible. Next, again, these are real scenarios from our own country, how beautifully they are representing the ecosystems. Going further, an ecosystem is a geographic area where plants, animals, and other organisms, as well as weather and landscape, work together to form a bubble of life. Ecosystems contain biotic or living parts as well as abiotic factors or non-living parts. Biotic factors include plants, animals, and other organisms. An ecosystem consists of all the organisms and the physical environment with which they interact. These biotic and abiotic components are linked together through nutrient cycles and energy flows. Energy enters the system through photosynthesis and is incorporated into plant tissues, which we all know since our school days. Ecosystem support lives on Earth. The healthier the ecosystem, the healthier the planet and we people on planet as a whole. There has never been a more urgent need to revive damaged ecosystems than now. As I have mentioned in the beginning, United Nations is celebrating or observing this decade as the decade of ecosystems restoration. Ecosystem restoration helps to end poverty, combat climate change, and prevent mass extinctions. In fact, the chronic or serious most issues globally mankind is facing. Restoration will only succeed if everyone
So your mic is mute. Kindly unmute yourself.
so my voice is not was not coming up to now.
No, sir, now it's coming. For a brief moment, it didn't come, but it's coming now.
So in between it has gone out,
Only for a few seconds, sir. You can
but
continue.
earlier it was fine.
Earlier, it was audible.
So how it happened automatically?
Some technical glitch, sir.
Okay. Now it is okay,
Yes, sir.
and screen is fine.
Yes, sir. Screen is fine as well.
So I should start again this slide.
Yes, sir. You can start from this slide.
Okay. So ecosystems, they are critical and their importance is essential. Ecosystem supports lives on Earth. The healthier the ecosystems, the healthier the planet and we people all on planet. There has never been a more urgent need to revive damaged ecosystems than now. The United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, which began in 2021, in fact, the same day, World Environment Day, will continue up to 2030. It aims to prevent, halt, and reverse the degradation of ecosystems on every continent and in oceans. Ecosystem restoration helps to end poverty, combat climate change, and prevent mass extinctions. Restoration will only succeed if every one of us plays our role positively. That is practically possible if we understand it well and then become practical. Nature is the greatest place to heal and recharge we human beings. Going further, our father of the nation, he realized the importance of ecosystems and he mentioned Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. In fact, industrialization made mankind greedy. We Bharatvasi or only Bharat worship planet Earth as the Mother Earth. We are the unique nation who been and is still worshipping Mother Earth. Industrialization began in the year 1780. Right now we are in transition phase from industry 4 to industry 5. The industry 1 lasted for 120 years between 1780 1900. It was about beginning of mechanization and source of energy used to be water, that is falling water, and steam produced using coal. Industry 2, it lasted about 70 years and it was electricity, in fact, came into contribution. Electricity was being used during this period and it led to assembly lines and mass production. Industry 3, which lasted for about 30 years, been about computerization, automation, and robotics. Industry 4, which lasted for 20 years, been about data sourcing, communication, networking through internet. And now present phase is transitioning from industry 4 to industry 5. Industry 5 is about distributed value chains, remote production, cyber physical systems, and artificial intelligence. So with this background, this is in fact the overall usage of fossil fuels and renewables energy during the period 1860 till 2020. Herein we find that up to say 1940, most of the energy was being from coal and oil. Hydro started contributing in the beginning and later on nuclear, wind, biomass, and solar are contributing. In present time also, contribution of fossil fuels, that is coal, oil, and gas, globally is still more than 80%. So, fossil fuels, as we all know, you are all from chemical engineering department. Fossil fuel on combustion releases greenhouse gases. And greenhouse gases, in fact, are the reason for global boiling. So herein is the overall consumption pattern of fossil fuels. As a result, this is here the change in concentration of greenhouse gases in atmosphere represented by CO2 equivalent. I'm sure you all are aware about these things. Just to refresh you, the concentration of CO2 in atmosphere during 1960 used to be 317 ppm, which last month is recorded as 427 ppm, that is May 2024. So this change is represented here year by year, and this change by now is more than 35%. So we all professionals though know that 35% change is abnormal. Herein is the carbon dioxide concentration monthly trend represented on yearly basis in the form of notches. We find that concentration being increasing continuously, and now it is steeping further. For last year, temperature average atmospheric temperature rise is recorded 1.44 degrees centigrade, and it is predicted that this year it is going to be 1.5 degrees centigrade, which was the target adopted for restricting the temperature rise by the year 2100. So we are 2024, 76 year before it is happening this year itself. Herein, these are the latest values. On June 1st, 2024, that is 3 days before, concentration was 4 to 7.43 ppm. The June 3rd, 2023, value was 4 to 4.72 ppm. So in a year, change is 0.64%, that is 2.71 ppm. So it is a considerable change. As a result, global warming is intensifying. Herein is the pattern of global average temperature beginning 1850 up to now. We find up to the year 1970s, though temperature been varying, but the trend indicate that this variation was not abrupt and abnormal, which has subsequently become very steep since 1970 onwards, and now we are already living in the era of global boiling. So this is the scenario. The globally hottest decade is the ongoing decade, and the hottest 10 years are alike here. Last year, 2023, is the hottest year in history, and in fact, up to now, if we see, 2024 is even hotter than 2023. So 2024 at year end is going to be again the hottest year, and in sequence, these are the years since 2014, all in sequence the hottest years. So we are living in an era of global boiling. We need to understand this scenario, contribute our best, act and act now, as it's already getting too late and survival is threatening. Here is the overall global temperature trend, and forecast for this year is magnified, which shows that during this period we are likely to breach the 1.5 degree centigrade scenario, which I have already stated. Now, April 2024, the global average concentration of carbon dioxide was 426, which has increased to 427. This was a record high and a 15% increase from the average levels in February 2000. Impact of such changes are climate change, human health deteriorates, emotional well-being get impacted, agricultural production is threatened. In fact, survival of crops also comes under threat. Equipment start misbehaving, and mortality is seen rising. So drought, this is the overall area. In fact, we see that part of the areas of Jammu and Kashmir, they are also experiencing heat and impact of heat this year. Himachal Pradesh is also reporting same scenario as Dehradun and many places in Uttarakhand. So drought in India, we have seen the seriousness of temperature pattern. Now desertification, droughts reduced our GDP by up to 5% in previous 20 years. So 5% reduction in GDP is a big impact. Droughts represent 15% of natural disasters. What took the largest human toll? Approximately 6,50,000 deaths during 1970-2019. That is, during 50 years in India, 6,50,000 people have lost their lives. Drought has resulted in more than 10 million deaths in the past century globally. By 2030 or in the next 6 years, drought will potentially displace an estimated 700 million people worldwide. In 2019-20, drought impacted 1.4 billion people, which is more than 23% of global population. The world has a new water scarce generation growing up with women and girls spending as much as 40% of their calorific intake carrying water in dry lands. In fact, last year and this year situation in our country on this count has improved as a result of government scheme of Har Ghar Jal Yojana. These are droughts in various parts of our country last year and this year, and they are becoming serious and intense. This is a drought in Telangana, wherein paddy field is almost dried up. No water is there. For the first time since formation of Telangana, it is witnessing a drought-like situation. The standing crops in lakhs of acres have withered in the current Rabi season. It may result into the food insecurity. According to irrigation experts, the drought situation in Godavari River Basin and Krishna River Basin is because of nature's fury. That is unpredictable behavior. And you see the people here. From October 2023 to March 2024, Telangana state received only 59 millimeter rainfall against the normal used to be 136 millimeter, a massive deficit of 56%. As a result of poor inflows, 14 major reservoirs on Krishna and Godavari basins have reached dead storage levels, water levels, and as a result, crops are not getting water. Karnataka situation is not much different, is facing an intense double drought this year. Lakhs are pledging their assets and migrating to cities in search of jobs. The state has estimated losses to the tune of more than 35,000 crores of rupees. So this is about the two states who are suffering this year seriously with drought. Now, coming to unpredicted weather in Karnataka, heavy rains wash away Bengaluru 133-year-old rainfall record, while the rest of Karnataka is bone dry. Bengaluru is the latest victim of an unending spate of extreme weather events across the world. Bengaluru received 111 millimeter of rainfall on 2nd June, that is 3 days before 2024, the highest for a day in June in 133 years. The previous highest daily rainfall ever recorded in Bengaluru was in June, 101.6 millimeter, recorded on 16th during 1891. As per the Indian Meteorological Department, the normal rainfall for the month of June in Bengaluru is 106.5 millimeter. This suggests that Sunday received more than the month's quota of rainfall in a day. It causes havoc. Now, coming back again to temperatures and its impacts, climate change, it is reflecting in rising temperatures. Herein we see instant display of 55 degrees centigrade temperature. As a result, the effects and impacts in the state of Rajasthan in various places we see here. Further, last year, July 4th was recorded as the hottest day on earth. And on 3rd July 2023, the temperature which was hottest till that day was 17.01 degrees centigrade, global average temperature. Very next day on July 4th, it increased by 0.17 degrees centigrade and became 17.18 degrees centigrade. So nature is behaving most unpredictably. Further, survival is under threat. It's already getting too late. We need to act and act fast. Otherwise, next year we are going to see something very surprising and very disturbing. Climate scientists say that the July 23 heat waves were a direct consequence of climate change. In fact, July on global scale, every year is the hottest month. So we are to see July 2024 what happens. Primarily, this climate change is driven by the burning of fossil fuels. They are coal, petroleum, oil, and its products, as well as gases. So pollution has trapped sunlight, creating a greenhouse effect around the earth, resulting in extreme weather events, including heat waves and violent storms. So this is the temperature pattern for the month of July since year 1940 up to 2023, and we see that during July 2023 this temperature increase was very sharp. As a result, 2023 July became the hottest month, and particularly heat wave resulted into impacts on north pole and south pole of our mother earth. We know that north pole and south pole are covered with ice sheets, but it is seriously getting impacted. Climate change is not sparing our Himalayas. Himalaya is known as the third pole, since next to north pole and south pole most of the ice is on Himalayas peaks. The impact of climate change in the Himalayas are reflected by early and quicker melting of glaciers, erratic and unpredictable weather conditions, changing rainfall patterns, and increasing temperatures, which are seriously impacting the people and wildlife. These are latest scenarios from Himalayas, how temperature has impacted and is a serious situation. If we keep update with news, at times we receive news that even Jammu and Kashmir regions are facing now water scarcity, which used to be not at all earlier years. Here is Brazil. Extreme heat to worsen the Amazon drought. Over 100 dolphins have been found dead in the Brazilian Amazon over the past 7 days due to historic drought and increasing water temperatures, which in fact reached 38.9 degrees centigrade. That is water body temperature. As a result, dolphins are dying. We have seen fishes dying in our place, dolphins are dying in Brazil. Herein, Secretary General of United Nations, he, while addressing United Nations General Assembly during 27th July 2023, he mentioned that we are in the era of global boiling, stating that global boiling has arrived. And these are some of the scenarios from various parts of our country that even nowadays, every day, if we just listen news or keep a track on social media, there are 5 to 10 serious fire cases taking place in different parts of our country. So these are fire cases. These are large fire cases reported from USA during last year. 72 large wildfires have burned 468,876 acres of forest in 14 states in United States of America. And statistics given down below in right corner speaks that these fire cases year after year are on increase, thereby threatening the Amazon forests. Canada is also not an exception. Very serious fire cases are being reported and seen year after year on increase in Canada. Himachal Pradesh last year faced cloud burst and as a consequence, landslides, lot of property damage, infrastructure damage happened. Herein, in Mandi on 13th July 2023, on the Sangam of River Vyas and Suketu, which is in Mandi, these are the scenarios which in fact damaged and destroyed historical infrastructures and monuments. Greater Noida, almost a plain area, last year experienced serious flood suddenly, and as a result, we see what happened. Lot of damages are observed. Hundreds and hundreds of fresh cars, which were in fact procured by Ola Taxi, before coming on road while they were waiting in parking, what happened to them? We can see here. So such a serious scenario, they are reported from countrywide from time to time in almost major states. Herein, these are the scenarios reported from Madhya Pradesh. Lot of heavy rainfall during September 2023, wherein 8 districts in Madhya Pradesh, they were seriously impacted. These are floods from Germany during last year, and we see that cloudburst was so intense and sudden, serious, that water level on airport, we see the wings of plane, they are just touching water. That means flooding in airport itself is about 2 meter. We know that airports are the most safe place and most drainable to be kept dry, but water is flooded up to 2 meter. So in one of the most developed country, these are the scenario of climate impacts changes. 100 fossil fuel companies who are producing fossil fuels, that means producing coal, producing petroleum, and producing natural gas. They are contributing 71% of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and they are responsible for. For want of time, I am a bit speeding up. There are a lot of updates. Top 10 companies out of 100, they are contributing nearing 36% from our country. There are none in top 10, but there are 2 in top 100. Coal India contributes 1.87% and ONGC 0.4%. That's all. These are 2 from India. Now, climate crisis in NCR is the most polluted in India. NCR region is the most polluted in India, and in fact, it is very serious for sensitive category of people. That means newly born children or children in tender early age, as well as the people with some complications, health complications, and senior citizens. It is so polluted that people, by way of passive smoking, are inhaling these chemicals equivalent to more than 20 cigarettes a day. So it is very serious scenario there, situation. We have seen the plane accidents happening last week and previous to that. Though plane travel, air travel is considered to be the most safe and fast, but it is also the most polluting mode of transport. We see in the middle picture on top that planes, how they are polluting our top layer of atmosphere wherein they are flying, and they contribute most greenhouse gases, intensifying the climate change impact. Air quality index is in fact represented here. The good quality of air is considered if AQI is less than 50. It is moderate if it is less than 100. It becomes unhealthy for sensitive group of people if it is up to 150. It is unhealthy if it is up to 200. It is very unhealthy up to 300. And it is hazardous when it crosses 300. In fact, we have seen that in Delhi this year on a day it has gone out of measurable scale more than 999. Herein, recorded value we find is 673. So it is most hazardous. And as I have already stated, in terms of passive smoking and comparing with number of cigarettes, then smoke inhaled in a day equates to more than 20 cigarettes. This situation is varying from city to city, but let me say that globally, out of 100 most polluted cities here, we find that tricolor is repeating so frequently. Out of 100 most polluted cities globally, 81 are our Indian cities. Such a serious situation. So we have seen air pollution, land degradation, and now the water pollution. This is in our capital city, Delhi, River Yamuna, on Chhat Puja day, that is 6 days after Deepavali. And see, there are females who are worshipping, considering Yamuna as a goddess. And in fact, Yamuna ji is full of chemical pollutants and is fogging. It is full of chemical fog. And girls sidewise, unaware of what it is, they are thinking that they are on Himalaya top, ice peaks, they are enjoying selfies. So that's the awareness about what it is. Bangalore in our country is known as the IT hub or IT capital of India. These are the various lakes in Bangalore, and the situation is almost comparable with River Yamuna in capital city Delhi. Here also we find that fishes they have died because of chemical contents in water bodies. So climate crisis is impacting our lives very seriously. I will rush up here. These are all pictorials speaking about how badly we are dealing with and doing with our ecosystems. So pollution, whether it is a dry on land, water bodies, or air, extremely polluted ecosystems we have made. Water bodies, see the city, even Jaipur city every year is facing intense flooding and year after year, not only once. This is another mode of pollution, plastics. We are not aware about its seriousness. Let us just look into a minute. 12 million tons of plastic enters in the oceans every year. 12 million tons. 9.5 million tons enters the oceans from the land through rivers. 1.75 tons chucked directly from the fishing and shipping industry into the sea. 51 trillion microscopic pieces of plastic weighing 269,000 metric tons are approximately present in the sea water. So you see here how plastic is playing havoc. So most plastics in the ocean break up into very small pieces or particles. These small particles, plastic bits, are known as microplastics. The average person breathes, drinks, and eats. That means these microplastics are present in atmosphere, in air we breathe, water we drink, and the food we eat. The average person on a daily basis breathes, drink, and eats 70,000 microplastics. Not daily, sorry, it is yearly, each year. So this is the ecosystem, what we have seen in the beginning. Now, what we have turned it into. It is a very big challenge for us to address it. A representation of it is in the form of Earth Overshoot Day. I will explain what it is. This year, today only, each year Earth Overshoot Day for the year is declared on World Environment Day. Today is World Environment Day, and I am sure today this date will be or is confirmed. This year is likely to be 25th July. Last year it was 2nd August, and likewise it keep on advancing, preponing or postponing. But if we look into the history of Earth Overshoot Day, it is reported by Global Footprint Network and reported each year on World Environment Day. And Earth Overshoot Day marks the date when humanity demands for ecological resources and services in a given year exceeds what Earth can regenerate in that year. So we make up deficit by liquidating stocks of ecological resources and accumulating waste, what we have seen in various previous slides, primarily carbon dioxide also in the atmosphere. So herein, these are representations which country, how fast they are consuming ecological resources, and to meet present day need, how many planets equivalent they need. So Australia and USA 5 and 5.2, South Korea and Russia 3.4 planet, Germany 3.2, Switzerland 3.1, France 3, UK 3, Japan 2.9, Italy 2.6, Spain 2.4, China 2.1, Brazil 1.8. So these are all member of G20 group. India, we still are rich in ecosystem resources, and with 60% present pace, we are consuming 60% of ecological resources, still leaving 40% and adding up to reserves. But now situation is fast changing, and it may reverse in our case also. So globally, if we look into, we require 1.7 planets or 1.7 Earth to meet the present day global requirement of ecological resources, though we have only one. So that is the serious situation we are living in. These are country overshoot days of different countries globally. So it begins with the most or fastest consuming country of resources is Qatar, whose resources are exhausted by 11th February, and so on. For want of time, I am not taking up. India is safe and is not appearing, as we are still consuming only 60% of resources, contributing 40% as reserve. But let us see how long it keep on going. This is one of the excellent representation of land restoration and converting it into productive, fertile land. As mentioned, United Nations is observing decade of ecosystem restoration, the ongoing decade. It is critical as restoring of priority ecosystems would prevent 70% of species extinctions and would absorb 50% of the carbon dioxide which has been emitted since industrialization began. So this is so critical, but it can succeed only if we all understand it and contribute and play our role positively. So with this, let us look into the history of some of the most memorable and positive contributions by people unaware of how greatly they did. First such example is Chipko Andolan, which happened in present day Uttarakhand. Those days it used to be part of Uttar Pradesh. It began in the year 1964, wherein it was taken up by various people one after other. At last, it became popular national level and international movement in the leadership of Sundarlal Bahuguna. So it basically focused on 5 F's of Chipko movement. which were food, fodder, fuel, fiber, and fertilizer. So these are 5 F's. Repeat: food, fodder, fuel, fiber, and fertilizers. All are required for a self-sustainable society. It was, in fact, being the message by the leader of movement Sundarlal Bahuguna. The next one is restoration effort of great hero. Maybe some of you heard it or not. Is Jadab Molai Pyong, almost a illiterate man. He started devoting his life from childhood. Now he is 76 years old and he is conferred with the title the Forest Man of India. And the government of India, it was conferred on World Earth Day in 2010 for turning a barren land of 550 hectares, that is 1,300 acres, into a lush green forest all by himself alone. So see the single man efforts. Pyong earned his name as Forest Man of India after he devoted 30 years of his life planting trees to create whole forest of 550 hectares, which is called the Mulai Reserve on the Majuli River, Iceland, the world's largest inhabited river island in Assam. He was honored with Padma Shri Award in the year 2015. So his contributions are great. Now the latest development is that his services are requested through Government of India by Government of Mexico for 10 years. Every year, 3 months he will be in Mexico and guiding their 1 lakh school students for afforestation drive. So a man of illiterate background has become a global teacher. This is another example from Telangana. If there is a will to do, there is way out. So in a first of its kind initiative by Dasarla Satyanarayana is the name of a great man, a nature lover in Telangana's Suryapet district, has developed a forest in his private personal 70-acre land by himself. We see the beauty and the richness of how he has converted his land into a lush green beautiful forest. Herein 5 crore trees, 32 varieties of birds. This Telangana man creates his own forest magic. So this is the simple man who has done wonder. Now he in fact intends to create and add at least another 10 ponds. Says the interest in nature began since his childhood. So another great example. The mass tree plantation drive was undertaken by government of Madhya Pradesh. 1.5 million volunteers, that is 15 lakhs school students and nearby communities in Madhya Pradesh along the river Narmada on both the banks, they were mobilized, who planted 66 million trees, that is 6.6 crores, in 12 hours, means in a day, along the river Narmada, and they created world record, and their entry is recorded in Guinness Book of World Records. So again, if there is bill, there is a way out, and this is mass tree plantation happening. This is NTPC. NTPC is the organization, I can say, just next to Indian Forest, who have planted 38 million trees. NTPC's commitment to the protection of the environment and maintaining the ecological balance is second to none. One of the main thrust area in this mission is afforestation on a gigantic scale. NTPC undertakes massive afforestation programs covering vast tracts of lands in and around its projects in a concerted bid to counter the growing ecological threat. Now, NTPC is, in fact, doing a lot of projects in the field of solar power plants in Rajasthan. And in Rajasthan also, NTPC is doing and will continue to do great afforestation work. The company has, I have mentioned already, 38 million trees they have planted, and they are continuing to plant 1 million tree each year. Each tree on an average offsets 50 pounds of carbon dioxide during the year. So these are some wonderful real scenarios from various locations of NTPC wherein ecosystem enrichment outcomes are visible. This is another wonderful example of international repute being executed by US aid and NTPC together. These two organizations are funding 50% each, amounting to rupees 25 crore, and two great organizations of international repute. One is our own IIFM, that is Indian Institute of Forest Management, which is located in Bhopal, is at par with Indian institutes, is executing this project on ground, and international experiences and best practices are being sourced and shared by Green Growth, Global Green Growth Institute. Global Green Growth Institute, which is a body under United Nations itself and is located in Seoul, South Korea. They have their headquarters in Delhi. They are closely contributing in execution of this mega restoration project along the river Narmada. So these are some real life details on this project. This is something wonderful. एशिया का सबसे बड़ा पार्क, that is Asia's largest park, is coming on S dikes of already closed power station of NTPC in New Delhi on the bank of river Yamuna. So S dike, which used to be 800 acres, is now converted into wonderful eco park. This will be opening shortly. Whenever you have an opportunity to be in Delhi, you can definitely spare somewhere 6 to 8 hours of time and enjoy this restoration of barren area into wonderland. These are some real existing scenarios which have developed, and post this rainy season, they will be in wonderful way. Now, Telangana is one of the station, latest one added by NTPC in Telangana state itself, which is now in beside campus of Ramagundam power station. Herein, they have come up with a Miyawaki forest, and they have planted recently 14,000 of trees. So this is update on that. These are some latest mode with people participation. We see school students doing the great work. Likewise, Singapore, they have come up with a 1 million trees movement, and they are in fact enriching the ecosystem in Singapore. So great work are happening world over. This is one of the unique example of restoring hilly barren terrain in lush green area. Herein, photojournalist Sebastião Ribeiro Salgado and his wife Leela, they created rainforest by planting 20 lakhs trees, that is 2 million trees over 20 years. So each year they kept planting 1 lakh trees and see the outcome. And this is thriving rainforest in the Minas Gerais region. And this is the wonderful couple who did it. So wonderful works are happening. Likewise, celebrating 100 million trees. So 100 million trees, they are being planted by UNEP through various bodies worldwide. Recently, this tree, which is a 200 million year old, is found, and efforts are being made to, in fact, replenish this tree in various locations worldwide so that it doesn't extinct. 200 million year old. Now, this is the great work done on the land where you all are there, and I am sure each one of you must have learnt about him. Is Dr. Rajendra Singh is an engineer by background, and he is known as the waterman of India. And he has done real groundwork on restoring rivers. So, waterman of India, you see, a man living very simply, have done exemplary work, and for his work he has received International Magsaysay Award. Dr. Rajendra Singh revived 5 rivers and brought water to more than thousands villages in otherwise most dry state Rajasthan. So this is great work which has happened. This is the another young man, Rambir Tamar. He is the pond man of India. He is still in his 30s, and great work he has done and is continuing. Rambir Tamar, the pond man of India, you see the transformation. These two real life examples. Likewise, he has done many, and now he is of international fame. His projects are getting voluntary funding. This is another great man in making, Anand Malligawad. He is known as the India's lake man. So you see the young volunteers joining him. A one-man army is out to make a change to such a scenario. A mechanical engineer, so another engineer by profession, he is now known as India's lake man by the New York Times. So New York Times have recognized his work. Has been instrumental in reclaiming Bengaluru's 33 lakes. So these are the lakes which have been reclaimed by him in Bengaluru city. He is in love with lakes. Anand attributes much of his success to two women. You all are a woman campus. He also attributes success to women, his wife and daughter, who have been his loyal supporters. As a result, who could do this restoration work. Now, coming to close, the greatest sin is to think that we are weak. Is saying of the greatest spiritual leader ever we have, Swami Vivekananda ji. He calls upon arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is achieved, and lot of expectations from us. Before concluding, Mission Life is India initiative which has become global, and Mission Life, there is Government of India portal. May I appeal you all to kindly visit this Mission Life, learn about it, practice it, share it among community, and contribute for life is live for environment. So today's topic, let us go with it. It focuses on 7 elements. It begins with reduce waste, reduce e-waste, adopt healthy lifestyles, adopt sustainable food systems, say no to single-use plastics, save water, and save energy. And these are all essential in present era, wherein we have seen there is a lot of pressure on natural resources. With this, may I appeal all to ride the wave and make our country proud. Thank you, everyone, and I am available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
So, can I come up with questions, if any?
Yes, sir. I have got a question for you.
Sure,
Uh,
welcome.
sir. Sir, the PPT that you just presented was very insightful. So, this is something that I'm curious about. So, basically, the data that you provided was very alarming because this is the current situation of the world and India. and I am worried now for sure. So, my question is, as an individual, for example, be it Natarajan sir from Banasthali or be it a student only, how can like we start to contribute to this? Because, for example, nowadays I am traveling through electric vehicles. What do
Great.
you think? Is it like, is this a good move? Is it helping?
Definitely, it is good move. Globally, there is a push for popularizing and adoption of electric vehicles, and India is also on the same path. Next to electric mobility, coming up will be the hydrogen mobility. So by that time hydrogen mobility matures, yes, you are doing great work. And to further intensify your contributions, I appeal you to kindly visit the Mission Life website.
Okay, sir.
Therein you will get lot of practical do's and don't. That way, your lifestyle will become friendly to environment. That is mission life. Live for environment.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
If you are
Uh,
very specific anything about it, you can call me later on. Here are my contacts along with email, and
yes,
we can definitely keep communicating. I am
thank you.
available on LinkedIn as well. I keep on posting a lot of practical material based on my own experiences of more than 4 decades. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. We can keep communicating.
Thank you so much, sir. We will surely connect with you.
Welcome.
On behalf of Department of Chemical Engineering, Banasthali Vidyapith, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Sushil Kumar Sharma, founder and CEO of Sustaineco, with experience as the former General Manager of Corporate Sustainable Development at NTPC. Sir has brought invaluable insights and expertise to today's talk, where we celebrated World Environment Day, which focused on land restoration, halting desertification, and building drought resilience under the slogan Our Land, Our Future. We are Generation Restoration. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting. It was really great to have you.
Thanks a lot, Nishtha Dikshit.
Yes, sir.
And I am sure today's program might be quite informative, educative, and useful.
It was, sir.
And let me say, Professor B.R. Natarajan sir, he is attempting his best to keep networking and
Yes.
then work for your all enrichment. So we
Yes.
keep on communicating. And Professor, I commit, I am available whenever you need any topic of your priority, we will do it. If you
Great.
need, I will travel to your campus and be with you.
That's a very sweet gesture, sir.
Right?
Sir, can you please just put up the first slide because we have to take screenshots.
Okay, sure, I will do. You want full screen?
Yes, sir.
Is there?
Uh, yes, sir. It is there. Can take
You
screenshot.
can take a shot and share with me as well.
Okay, sir. Definitely. Yeah, it's done.
Done.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you so much, sir.
Great. So let me wish. I think I have taken a bit more time, but uh,
No, but yes, sir. Initially, there was some technical issue, but it's
yes, correct.
okay.
We began at somewhere, I think
7:20,
7:23
2:30.
or so. No? So
Yes, sir.
about 10 minutes, I think I have taken more.
No, it's okay, sir. It
In
was
between, there was
valuable.
disturbance.
Yes, sir.
Right. Great. So enjoy your day. And Professor Sir, namaste.
He's doing namaste from there.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, sir. So we will definitely keep networking, communicating, and contributing to the